Yuji Itadori single-handedly changed the whole fate of the Jujutsu world by eating the finger. But what if instead of Yuji eating the finger, it was someone else? And that person being Sonic the Hedgehog. Hey guys, I'm DontDothatShi here, and today we're going to be talking about what if Sonic ate the finger instead of Yuji. If you guys do like these videos, make sure to like and subscribe, and like that guys, let's get right into it. Yuji is first introduced to us in the initial chapters of JJK as someone that is kind-hearted and optimistic towards the better safe of humanity. And we see his relations to the cursed finger. We see Yuji as someone that wants to fight sorcerers and help people, but what instead of Yuji, it was somebody else. And we switch Yuji for Sonic the Hedgehog. We already know about Sonic the Hedgehog's speed and sheer power himself, so fighting the curses wouldn't be a problem of if he can do it, it would be how quick. Now, to obviously not break the laws of the whole Jujutsu universe, we're going to have to downscale Sonic a bit here, so it's not too easy for him. The main plot shift is when Yuji consumes the finger. Now what would happen if Sonic did it? The main questions start being into play. Can Sukuna even take control of Sonic if he ate the finger? And is Sonic's willpower truly stronger than Sukuna's evil? Say for this one instance that Sonic wasn't paying attention and he accidentally let Sukuna take over. Because we know about Sonic's character, he is a truly cocky person and likes the enjoyment and the thrill of a fight. Now Megumi and Yuji now fight, but instead of Yuji winning because he is physically gifted, Sonic wins because Megumi literally cannot keep up. And because of how the vessel works, Sukuna and Sonic would have some type of argument about giving the body back. Sukuna witnessing that this isn't a body of a normal human would be absolutely exhilarated to have such a power buff and would be truly surprised at what he could fully do with his 20 fingers. Following the same event of the manga and the TV series, Satoru Gojo pulls up to the battle and confronts both Megumi and, in this case, Sonic the Hedgehog. We can see in some elements that Sonic and Yuji both share similar characteristics of cockiness and general humor. Gojo, seeing Sonic's true character, would be deeply surprised and interested about his true capabilities of speed and sheer power. Sonic, realizing now that he can swap in and out with Sukuna when it comes to body possession, is now a new thing to Sonic. He has only had transformations that have altered his body externally, such as the Werehog, but he has never truly faced a transformation that changes his inside. The fight between Gojo and one finger Sukuna would be a bit different. I feel like Sukuna would still lose, not because Gojo is stronger, but because Sukuna doesn't know how to handle that much speed. That speed, he would use Sonic to run and accidentally injure himself in the process, making him knock out. And because of that, we switch back to Sonic the Hedgehog. Sukuna is still plotting and doing the same plans of looking at Megumi to use him for the 10 shadows, but that plan might slightly alter due to how strong Sonic really is. Sonic is still brought into Jujutsu High to be explained that he will be executed due to his sheer power and links with the Sukuna vessel. Sonic understands and learns about the 20 fingers. He doesn't really see it as a problem. Sonic sees that as more of a challenge more than as a fight. And Gojo seems to be more surprised about Sonic's capabilities and abilities, and might also be scared in the slightest sense. We know Sonic is an incredibly strong and fast character, so it leads to the question, can Sonic bypass infinity? And that same question that we are thinking, Gojo and Sukuna are both planning on it. One is thinking about it for defense, and the other is planning it for an offensive attack. Sonic being fed the different fingers seems to have not that much of an issue and compares it to, of course, the consistency of a chili dog, and doesn't seem any trouble with eating the fingers compared to Yuji. And because of that, Gojo seems more impressed of his power. Sonic's introduction into Jujutsu High is a bit more different. As someone that's more cocky, more people are going to hate him, especially the likes of Nobara. And due to his sheer strength, he's going to be feared by the higher-ups in the same likes of Gojo. And because of that sheer strength, Gojo seems to like him a bit more. Sonic and Gojo have a conversation about Sukuna's true strength and if he can truly beat him. And we have the infinite panel, nah, I'd win. But it could be a bit different this time. We aren't facing with Yuji at Sukuna in Yuji's body, and instead we have Sukuna in Sonic's body. Sonic is introduced to his team of Nobara and Megumi, and Sonic seems to treat these two like how he would treat his other friends. He would probably see Megumi more as a shadow archetype and Nobara as a and simply slowly adapts to his surroundings to create new friends if they can't tolerate him. And nonetheless, they're sent onto their first mission. Sonic and the gang are introduced to their first battle and taught the instruction of what grades are in the whole Jujutsu universe. Sonic, not understanding what these actually means, sees special grade as one of the highest challenges he can complete, and after hearing do not engage, doesn't listen anyways and probably goes headfirst into looking for this special grade curse. Megumi and Sonic both encounter their first curse, the finger bearer, and due to a cheap shot takes off Yuji's finger. Now in this situation, I don't think Sonic would be able to be sneak shotted that quickly, and instead of losing a hand, dodges it. But not the same can be said for Megumi. And instead of it having Sukuna take over the body, Sonic would beat this curse with ease. And Sukuna seeing Sonic beat this grade curse this easily is going to bring a lot of questions. Does Sonic really need Sukuna in this verse? Probably not, because Sonic's speed and reaction time yet alone are higher than half the characters in this show. And because of that, Sukuna notices this to further his plan. Let's say for the example that Sonic does let Sukuna take over to see his true abilities. We would see a Sukuna Sonic vessel used in the level and shrine. Now, would this be a bit different compared to Yuji's shrine? I would believe so, and it would be maybe more faster, that's not English, maybe faster than what Yuji's body can truly do and excel his capabilities. Sukuna seeing this would be more than exhilarated and being excited to try this out. And who else to try it out on than
Man, it doesn't matter if you feel.
And because of Sonic's fatal flaw, Sukuna takes advantage of this being in his body, knowing that there's not going to be another time like this, and taunts Megumi, analyzing what Megumi's true abilities are and wondering which vessel would be a better choice. One he's in right now, with the slight probability of beating Gojo, or a guaranteed choice of being able to have a Shinigami that adapts to anything. Sukuna is a man of experience and adaptability and wants to assess his options, so he chooses both and sees what he can truly do against Megumi. Megumi brutally loses this fight, of course. It's a Sukuna Sonic variant. I don't think he had any chance when it was just Yuji with 3 fingers. And it is this part where Megumi starts doing the old hand sign of pulling out Maharaga. Sukuna sees this and just dips, and we would be left with Sonic on the floor. Let's say for an example, because of this, Sonic was left temporarily dead and was revived by another less than Shoko. And it is because of this mortality that Sonic starts to take this a bit more seriously. In these Sonic games, we rarely see Sonic die, and because of that, we see his ego become more inflated. We've seen him defeated, but being defeated does nothing to Sonic. In fact, it makes him more agile and more ready for the next fight. A loss this detrimental to Sonic the Hedgehog would force him to clutch and increase the severity of this situation. This isn't like Green Hill Zone. There are no bad nicks to jump on, but even worse. And it is a perfect time for Sonic to start to understand the severity of these circumstances of this world he's been transported into, as we are introduced to the disaster curses. Sonic first encounters them with Gojo while he meets his counterpart Jogo, and we are introduced to what a domain expansion is. Sonic looks at this domain expansion and realizes this is something that he has never ever seen before. The guy has fought interdimensional beasts that transcend time, but seeing a domain like this has never been something he has seen. Being wowed and amazed by the sheer ability of Satoru Gojo, of course, sees this and realizes there's a lot more things different to his world than this world. And through the disaster curses, we encounter Mahito, one of the strongest disaster curses there is, and he is coming for the likes of the Jujutsu student. It's around this time Sonic has cemented himself with the whole Jujutsu high, being friends with now Nobara, Megumi, and Gojo. Seeing these people more as people back in his own place, I would assume that he sees Megumi more as a shadow archetype, Nobara as Amy, and looks down to Junpei as Tails. They both all share similar characteristics to those characters, and it's because of that Sonic has started to grow a liking to them. And this relationship will slowly become his biggest weak point. We are shown through Nanami and Gojo's conversation about the sheer danger of who Mahito truly is. His touch can disfigure anyone and ultimately kill them. Sonic now understands its severity in lives and takes its objective more seriously than ever. When it comes to Mahito's biggest advantage is touch. Anything he touches disintegrates and turns whatever it is to dust and disfigures it. And Sonic's biggest advantage is also speed. The question is, can Mahito even touch Sonic? It's an easy question, no. And it is because of this, Mahito truly can't have as much fun as he usually does. The tension is built towards Mahito's distance and can he touch you? When you remove that factor, his ability as a character and as a curse becomes useless. He knows he can't touch Sonic, but he knows he can touch something better, one of his best friends. He holds Junpei as hostage and tries to use him as a bargaining chip. Sonic knows if he moves, he might not be able to get rid of him on time, but still tries anyway. And because of that, Junpei still suffers the same fate. And just like this, he has lost someone that he basically sees as a little brother. Sonic, being upset in this moment, knows that he can't run away from this and asks Sukuna to help him. This is the one time that he's actually looking to someone else to help him. And just like Yuji, both Mahito and Sukuna laugh. It's because of this. And it's because of this, Sonic actually loses it. He's no longer making funny quips and jokes. He genuinely loses it with Mahito. And because of his sheer speed, Mahito doesn't see it coming. Sonic punches Mahito so hard that he flies out the window and isn't seen anywhere anytime soon. And because Sonic has soul-like punches, not only can Mahito feel that physically, he can now feel that internally. His one punch alone almost kills Mahito, and Mahito, knowing that he accidentally let his guard down, almost cost him his life. And the fight between Yuji and Mahito was severely cut down, meaning there was no need for Nanami to come in the fight. There was no fight to even beat him. It's later on this time Sonic goes back to the Jujutsu High for the Kyoto Sister School event, where two teams fight against each other for the sake of competition. During this whole event, we are introduced to new characters that aren't the main three, and Sonic is introduced to Todo. Todo is no different than the GOAT as he always is, and because of that, their bromance increases even more. Todo is seen more as a Knuckles figure, like being strong and stoic, with a charming personality. Sonic sees that and grows more of a liking towards him, and it's because of that the fight ends quicker than the manga. And it's because of that Sonic actually learns more about how cursed energy and cursed spirits truly work. Todo teaches Yuji about how cursed energy truly flows in the body and how to use it. And since Yuji has learned that, Sonic could also have learned the rules of Jujutsu and how it truly works. You've already seen him learn how domain expansion works and how cursed energy works. Now on top of that, with cursed flow, now learning how to see how cursed energy flows throughout the body, he is basically set up for any person. Sonic has just been using blind spin dashes and attacks at people because that's all he's known. But now understanding that with Jujutsu on top makes him more of an unbeatable threat to all the villains. And it is because of that the fight between Hanami and the whole team of Jujutsu High is cut even short. Instead of Gojo having to use his hollow puff, Sonic comes in the battle and absolutely decimates one of the disaster curses. Gojo, seeing that, is not only shocked and surprised at how that ended so quickly, he's also starting to become a bit concerned. Because if Sukuna can use even 10% of this power, could this truly be over for the likes of Gojo? His character has also started to change, and it becomes one of the biggest butterfly effects. Because Sonic is around, Megumi can train more harsher and learns from Sonic's confidence and starts reaching his potential sooner and being able to understand how certain characters work. And this later pays off in Shibuya. And it is because of Sonic's personality, the whole group around him has become quicker and more readily adaptable for fights. And it's because of that, a lot of cursors start to realize that it's not Gojo that they need to worry about, it's now Sonic the Hedgehog. We can see maybe Nobara starts adapting quicker. With their fight with the painting cursors, Yuji and Nobara took a lot longer to adapt to how their abilities work and using cursed energy. But because Sonic is there, the fight would drastically end shorter. And because of that, it would allow them more effort and time to practice and hone in on their cursed techniques. And it is because Sonic is taking this more seriously, Nobara would also follow. And it's around this time we start learning about Chozo. After Chozo hearing that his brothers are dead, Chozo's grudge becomes even stronger. Chozo's hatred becomes directed towards Sonic. Seen so far, Sonic keeps ruining the plans and the curses keep losing, and these shifts of the whole events of Jujutsu are starting to drastically change. Kenjaku's initial plan of using the Sukuna vessel to progress his plan of creating the merger are slightly altered. It's no longer the 6 eyes he has to also take into account, it is now also Sonic. Gojo can also sense this. Gojo starts to think Sonic is adapting way too quickly, even for a vessel. And this might be why Sukuna is starting to enjoy not being called out as much. Sukuna might slowly be becoming stronger through Sonic's body. And because of this, Kenjaku might start to change his plan. And it's because Sonic keeps changing the events, Kenjaku realizes this truly isn't Yuji, it's a different breed. And now it's because of this, the whole of the Shibuya could be drastically different. And the Shibuya incident becomes drastically more dangerous because the villains start adapting. And it is because of this, it might alter the whole events of Jujutsu Kaisen from there on forth. That's it guys, that's gonna be part 1 for today. If you guys want me to do the Shibuya arc and anything past JJK, that area, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like this type of content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and just like that guys, DDS out.